Somebody thinks I need a haircut. I definitely need my beard shaved, but there's a whole story behind that, which I'm not going to get into here. So this is Bonsai Anonymous, yeah, and it's also scat singing, yeah, and then it's Ducky. And here's Ducky. See her. She's really not small. She used to be. Used to be small. She used to be about the size of her head. Not much larger than that. But now, she machine guns her way. Mosquitoes, I don't know where that came from, except it sounds like machine gun a little bit, maybe. It starts with M. Anyway, she's giving me a trim, and she does just one side at a time, and then she quits after one is done. So I always look like the wind is blowing from one direction. Yeah, thanks, Ducky. She finds every single thing that you could possibly get your beak on and bites it. Like my ear, there goes my ear. Now, if you were me, you'd be hearing her beak right in your ear. Right? It's loud. But it's okay. She never does the other side because she only sits here. She doesn't seem to want to sit where my left arm is, here. She likes to sit on this side for some reason. Always has. I'm just realizing. She used to get up on the back of the headrest here, but she's too big to do that now. She can't even get really up on my shoulder. This is about as high as she can get. And there you see duck feet. Look at that duck foot. It's huge. How big of a foot does a duck need? Well, pretty big, right? Yeah, I kind of look like a bum a little bit, and I don't really think that's dishonest. It's just it is truth in packaging. You know, that's what it is. And Ducky doesn't care. She is not bummed out by my bumminess too much. So, you know those videos that someone claims to take from the inside of a tornado, looking up through the tornado? Well, I don't believe that those exist, but I do have this duck. I know how it sounds to be inside an ear when a duck is machine gunning on it, because she does my ear, sticks her beak in my ear and does that little... So I can tell you that sounds like that. Now in my ear, that's really, really loud because she gets her beak right down in there. I don't know what she's doing, and I'm not sure I want to. I think this is what passes for duck grooming, maybe? I don't know. I don't really see two ducks interacting in that way very often. And Ducky is really too old to be a duckling, but that's all she ever got to be. So she's an old duckling right now. See, there she is. Oh, she's so tired. She's so tired. She just wants to rest. Oh, Ducky. We're tired, aren't we? Yeah, we're tired. We're going to put our head down here, and we're going to rest. Yeah, I hear all her little noises that she makes in my ear here. And they're kind of fetching. They're fetching. They're little peeps and little barks. And the sound of the beak doing what she's doing right now, that's not a sound she makes. That's just her beak clacking together, I think. And she's got little squeaks. All these little noises that you wouldn't hear unless you were within an inch of a duck, which is not a spot where many people would be interested in being an inch away from a duck, because some ways you could be an inch away from a duck, you're in danger of being inundated, but I want to get duck in there. Inductated. You're going to be inductated by duck offal, I guess. OFFAL, duck poop. I don't want to say any other words because I don't want to insult my friend here with her big old feet all bent up like that. Can you see? What a weird way to have your toes. Look at that. And she's just about asleep. See her? Now, I have, I guess I would call it restless leg syndrome. I think most people would say that happens while you're asleep. Your legs kind of shake. I don't know. Mine don't do it when I sleep. When I sleep, they stop. Like right now, my foot is tapping, and you could probably see it in the screen. I'm trying to hold it still, but my legs are restless, and sometimes they do this. Ducky doesn't care about any of it. To her, it's just like a massage bed. Everything shakes up here, when I'm here. And so she goes to sleep quite easily. Just a few words about living with Ducky, because there may be someone out there in the world who might want to consider having a duck as a pet. Okay. I don't recommend it because oftentimes what happens is a person gets a duck as a gift. Someone got it at a pet store, or I don't know. Sometimes they have them at feed stores, little pens of ducklings that you could get one as a pet. And I don't recommend that because ducklings don't stay ducklings very long. I mean, she was a duckling. She's kind of a big duckling now because she never got to be with any ducks to speak of except me. And so this is where she prefers to spend her time, if she can. Sitting on me here, or if I'm taking a nap, she's up by the pillow, just like this, sleeping up there. So if you got a duckling at the age where it hadn't imprinted on someone, and it was given to you as a present, and you didn't know anything about them, you're going to end up with a duckling like Ducky, who thinks that you're her mom. Okay, and Ducky definitely thinks I'm her mom. She cries when I leave, and she chews me out when I get back, and she spends most of her time in my bedroom. And I'll return to that in a second, why that might be. But my daughter-in-law is works at a vet's office, and occasionally they get donations. Is a word. It basically is shoveling your problems off on them, but they get people bringing in animals, either that they've found that they don't know what to do with, and it's not a bad deal to bring it to a vet, as they probably know what's wrong with the animal and also who could do something for it. If the animal is crippled, Ducky's crippled. So she had no chance in the wild. In fact, she was left abandoned by the rest of them because she couldn't keep up. So here's this little duckling. And of course, it tugs on the heartstrings. On the other hand, it's nature. They can't. I mean, this cold, because to say this because I love them. Look at this, I love them. But we couldn't possibly live in a world where every duckling lived to maturity. And it would be it's that case with every species. If every human lived to maturity, we would be in much worse shape than we're in, and we're not in great shape. But so any animal can take over where it is if it's allowed to reproduce without any curbs on it. And sometimes that happens I was going to say sometimes it happens with ducks, but very rarely, because usually what happens is people have these animals like this one right here in the crosshairs. I mean, this animal is completely convinced that I am her mother, and she never got to be around other ducks. There's no way she could have. We have some other ducks, a couple, and I've put her with them and watched very carefully, and that's not going to work out. They see her as I don't know, as a threat, but I guess maybe defective, and that's, I think, in the world of nature, defectives are culled and abandoned, and of course she was abandoned and found and brought to the vet, saying, what do we do with this? And there aren't too many things you can do with a crippled duck. If you know someone who can deal with a crippled duck, then that's where the duck should go. We have a couple of sanctuaries or refuges, I guess, down here. Not so much for this kind of duck. This is a muscovy, and muscovies are the sweetest ducks there are, and also the most persecuted. They're very easy to catch and abuse, and this duck wasn't abused. She wasn't abused. She came this way, and how she came I'll tell you in a minute. But and I don't think I would say she's abused right now. Exactly. She sleeps on the bed with me. If she's not with me on the bed, she's got a little spot under the bed where she sits. It's like a little cave. And that cave has to be watched because it could be a real mess if you don't keep on top of it. And so it's all of these are things that you have to know if you're going to accept something like this. And when I accepted her, she fit in my hand. She fit in a coffee cup. And she used to sit on my chest just like this, and she still does. She still thinks she's about an ounce big, and she's got to be getting close to it. I want to say a pound, but I don't know. Ducks aren't that heavy. I do have a heavy duck. He lives outside and inside at night, and you've seen him if you've watched any of my videos. This is a long video, and it's really, I know that very few people will be watching this long, but the people that are maybe the ones who need to hear about what to do with an animal like this. What it is a commitment. Once you accept that she's in your house and she lives here, and she's lived here now for I don't know how long. I can't remember, but she's got to be at least a year old, maybe 2. My memory is really, really bad. And not improving. The old joke about a man goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor," I mean, this is a version of another joke, but it's good enough. Goes to the doctor and says, "I can't remember things. I'm forgetting things." And the doctor says, "Okay, well, how old are you?" And I'll put my own age in. "I'm 69, doc." And the doc says, "You remembered enough." And that's the diagnosis and the treatment. So Ducky, as I say, came to us from my daughter-in-law, who brought her from their office. And there are a couple of other things that they could have done with her. One would be to give her to Duck Haven. Duck Haven's very, very duck-friendly, as you might imagine. Eunice Syverson has Duck Haven down in Margate, Florida, and she rescues this specific kind of duck, the muscovies, okay? Now, most muscovies have, I'm getting photobombed here again by this duck. Muscovies, most of them have red carbuncles or red, puffy red areas around their beak. That's gross sounding, and most people would think it looks a little gross, but I find it very attractive. And it's ironic to me that I really like the red crest, and yet here we have Ducky, who is, as far as we can tell, a very close to a wild muscovy. And the wild ones don't have, at least if what I'm reading, they don't have the they don't have the red, fleshy. They're not tumors. They're red, and the reason they're red is because they're filled with blood. And I figured that one out one time when I just thought I'll just see what this feels like. So I touched one of those red areas on a duck. We've had tame ducks forever because well, we just do. And so if you touch one of those carbuncles and give it a little press, just push in a little bit, the blood that's in it will be pushed to the side, and you'll see the real color of what it is. It's fat, and it's yellowish. So when you take the push on it and push the blood to the side, you get a little yellow, and of course the blood comes back in. That's amusing for about 1 second. But anyway, she doesn't have that red. She's a little closer to the purebred stream, at least as far as what I think. Yeah, you're close to something, Ducky. You are. Yeah, you're close. So I'm one of the ones that likes the red ones, and here we are with Ducky that doesn't have the red. Now, our other two ducks that should be outside by now, they live outside in the daytime, and they come back in at night because we have predators. And I found a duck that was attacked by a predator, an owl, and it's better to just keep them indoors at night. The owls like to, and we have huge owls in our area, and they've got to eat too. I can't argue with that. I just don't want them to eat our ducks, and so they come in. Ducky never goes out. I've had Ducky out maybe twice in my lap, and she's fascinated by it, but she's not interested in it so much as wanting to get down and walk around. She's perfectly happy to do what she's doing right now. Just sit on my lap and look around and see what's happening. This is a good spot for her. And if I go to my bedroom and work in there, she'll be sitting on the bed and watching me, whatever I'm going to do. I'm going to do that later. Okay. Ducky is crippled. And I've mentioned this before, but it won't hurt to say it again. One of the reasons that our daughter-in-law brought Ducky to us in a bucket about the size of about the size of your hand, maybe, not much bigger, or not much bigger than that. The reason that our daughter-in-law brought Ducky to us was that she knew that we have rescued ducks with problems before, and given them a place to. It's a hospice, really, in those cases, many cases, because sometimes it's a birth defect, sometimes it's, I don't know, it could be anything, could be an injury, and they end up with us, and we do the best we can with them. And if you look at Ducky, I think you'll see that her life is not that rough. Yeah, and she just gave me a present. Thank you, Ducky. Fortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision on this. That's one of the reasons you have to be careful about giving a duck to a person as a gift or a pet, because you have to be willing to clean up. Now, see, right now, I know that Ducky left me a present because I can sniff it. But before I cancel this video or stop it, let me tell you about her handicaps. One handicap that she doesn't have is the handicap of not being able to poop. She has that covered, believe me. But one of her handicaps is that she has something called wry neck. I can't see it here, but her neck goes to an angle to the side. And if she was walking on the floor, you would see that her neck's kind of off to the side. Think of the command module, or the what do you call it? The command deck of Han Solo's ship, which is off to the side of the. It's not in the center. And that's how Ducky goes down the road with her neck to the side. And the other thing she has that's a handicap. Both of these are genetic, I think. The other thing she has is something called angel wing, which just means the joint of one of her wings doesn't allow her to easily keep her wing close to her body. Now, I've tucked it in right down there is where it would be sticking out. And whenever I see it, I tuck it in. And sometimes she can tuck it in, but not often. Okay, so those are her two handicaps. Now, what I'm going to do right now, and I will spare you the experiencing of it other than this, is I'm going to take one of my coverings that I have in my chair off, the one that Ducky has blessed with her little present. And then we'll have the next level below. She can sit on that. Okay, so that's how we do it here. We have layers of protection, as we say, on the bed and in my lap and everywhere, because ducks have a real problem holding it in, and that's a topic for another video. All right, Ducky is smelly and out.